everybody, welcome back to an episode of The Elite, the Elite Count. I'm War Machine MJ, and you see my titles. And I'm here today to talk about AEW Rampage from the 15th and Battle of the Belts Part 2. So without any hesitation, let's go ahead and dive right on in. Kicked off Rampage with the Blackpool Combat Club, the BCC, of course, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, who was called him by his other known deplorer, and Wheeler Yuta, taking on the Gun Club, Billy, Colton, and Austin Gunn. Yeah, this was a pretty good match. Blackpool Combat Club and Gun Club just beating the holy hell out of each other, but this was yet another star-making performance from Yuta. Of course, Wheeler Yuta gets the victory after rolling up Billy. He gets the victory on Billy after rolling him up from a failed Faymaster attempt. So, yeah. Pretty lengthy match. Really put more spit and polish on Wheeler Yuta. So, yeah. Next, we had the Butcher taking on local enhancement talent that he, that he murdered in no time flat. Like, they didn't even give this poor sap the name. So, next, we had a backstage promo from Dustin Rhodes, who he was talking about his one last ride that he's been on since joining AEW, and he talked about his he talked about his current rivalry with Lance Archer, and that's not done yet. But then he threw out the challenge for this Wednesday night on Dynamite to take on one CM Punk. So, yeah, the natural versus the best in the world in Pittsburgh. Next, we had another Owen Hart Foundation women's qualifier match as Ruby Soho took on Robin Renegade. Between the three of us, I've got Ruby Soho to win the Owen Hart tournament, basically as a make good for her being one of the favorites of the TBS tourney and her getting bounced out. Anyway, Ruby Soho took on Robin Renegade, and this was a pretty good match. Robin Renegade is not too bad in the ring, and Ruby Soho is amazing. The whole gimmick for Robin Renegade, however, was she was doing some twin magic with her twin sister Charlotte Renegade. Yeah, it wasn't the usual twin magic shenanigans where they swap and they immediately get a win, or nobody was wise to the fact. In fact, Ruby Soho was kicking both asses without even knowing it. It's good to see Ruby Soho back on TV. Again, I say she's got, she's the dark horse. She's my dark horse pick of the tourney. And finally, in the main event, we had a Texas death match for the AEW World title as Hangman Adam Page defended against the other Adam Cole. And these men beat the hell out of each other. Of course, for the first half of the match, Adam Cole could not get his offense going. Hangman kept shutting him down. But the second the second half of the match, Adam Cole finally got his offense going, and Adam Cole was bleeding from the top of his head, while Hangman was bleeding from around his chin. It was pretty gnarly. Of course, there was Hangman trying to hit an acai moonsault, while Adam Cole still does that magnificent super kick mid moonsault, which that's such an amazing spot. Um, then the finish saw um, Hangman Page take his belt off, because they were in street attire. He took his belt off and he tied Adam Cole's hand to the rope. He went out to the outside, got a chair with two strips of barbed wire on there, and he got in the ring ready to crack Adam Cole with it, and he hesitated. He was not going to stoop to Adam Cole's lows. Hangman unties Cole. Cole pops him with a low blow, and they go back to they go back at it, and the finish came when they were both, jockeying for position on the outside. Hangman took one of the strips of barbed wire. I almost called it something different. One of the strips of barbed wire, and he strapped it to his arm, smacked Cole with it, removed it, and then stuck it on Cole's head like a crown of barbed wire. And then he hit a dead eye off the apron through a table, and Adam Cole can't answer the 10 count. Hangman Adam Page is still the AEW World Champion. So yeah, that was I'm sorry. So yeah, that was a pretty fun Dynamite. A good go home to Battle of the Belts too. Those notes came courtesy of Wrestling Headlines. Now, speaking of Battle of the Belts too, come on, load. All right. It was a pretty stacked show. We had 3 championships on the line. The championships that weren't defended between Dynamite and, with the exception of the TBS title. Anyway, we had Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Jonathan Gresham defending the Ring of Honor Championship against Dalton Castle. And Thunder Rosa defending against Nyla Rose. So we kick off the show with kicked off the show with Sammy Guevara challenging Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. Of course, Scorpio Sky was flanked by All Ego Ethan Page and Dan Lambert, while Sammy Guevara was flanked by Ty Conti. And this was a pretty decent match. Good back and forth between them. Down the stretch, however, Ethan Page stuck his nose in Guevara's business. Guevara wiped him and Scorpio Sky out. Dan Lambert tried to get involved at one point, and Ty Conti just pushed him off. That led to Dan Lambert trying to get his hands on Ty Conti with Ethan Page holding him back, and then Paige Van Zant comes out, and her and Ty Conti just go to scrapping. And while the referee was distracted by that and Scorpio Sky, Sammy Guevara hits a low blow, and he puts Scorpio Sky away with the GTH to become the new TNT champion. Now, Rodimus and I were talking about this after Battle of the Belts. We're both just so over this Sammy Guevara American Top Team feud. We're so over Sammy Guevara as a face. Like, it's obnoxious at this point. Like, he doesn't even feel like a face. He just, it felt like the heel before he became a face, But, whatever. Next, we had the ROH Championship on the line as Jonathan Gresham, the man that's been making headlines as of late, taking on former Ring of Honor World Champion Dalton Castle. Of course, Dalton Castle was flanked by the Boys. And this was a fairly competitive match. The first chunk of this match, Jonathan Gresham had an answer for everything Dalton Castle threw at him. In fact, that was pretty much the entire match. Dalton Castle would get spurts of offense, but Gresham would shut him down. Yeah, Gresham had him beat 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Gresham was jumped by Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt. And damn, I forgot his name. The big 7-foot lad from Dynamite. They were jumping Jonathan Gresham, and then Lee Moriarty tried to get him some. Of course, Lee Moriarty got him. He got his ass beat at Supercard, and then he got his ass beat at Battle of the Belts. Then Matt Sydal came out there, trying to get him some. He was getting ready to get his ass beat when the TV champ showed up, Samoa Joe, with a pipe in hand. He chased off Lethal, Dutt, and the 7-foot gentleman. And then Joe and Gresham stood eye to eye, and then they just, turned to the crowd, threw up their titles. Amazing. And as of this recording, Jonathan Gresham is All Elite, which Jonathan Gresham is amazing. I'm glad they signed him up. He's really damn good. Yeah. Especially since he recently became the first American to hold the Progress Championship. And finally, we had the main event as Thunder Rosa defended her belt against Nyla Rose. This was a competitive and heated match. They took turns beating the snot out of each other. Of course, Thunder Rosa got the victory over... she got the victory with a Hurricane Rana, and it was just an absolute banger of a match. These two ladies, they put on some belters, no pun intended, because the belt was on the line. But yeah, that's Battle of the Belts too. It was definitely I felt like it was a better improvement over Battle of the Belts 1. Still a lack of World Championship, AEW World Championship being defended at Battle of the Belts, but maybe they're giving maybe they use it to give someone else a shine. Anyway, yeah. So that's Rampage and Battle Belts. Oh, by the way, Battle of the Belts 2, those notes were provided by Bleacher Report, so, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the video. I'm War Machine MJ. You see my titles, and I shall see you guys next time. Bang.